Okay, what's up, people? Welcome back to another stream. Hope everyone is doing well. As always, guys, if you are enjoying the content, please be sure to subscribe to the channel, drop a like on the stream if you are enjoying them, and of course, make sure you go and hit the bell so you don't miss on any streams or uploads in the future. Make sure you do check out Elevating Traders Discord channel, completely free to join. You can find the Discord link. Combine the two words there. You can find the link to the Discord at the top of the chat and also in the description below if you're looking to join it, chat with other traders, including myself, about different trading opportunities and other stuff as well. If you're looking to join that community, feel free to check it out. Link in the description and also at the top of the chat as well. Of course, you can find your discount code there for your next Elevating Trading Challenge if you're looking to get 50% off. But guys, welcome back to another stream. Hope everyone is well. It's been an interesting 24 hours since we last spoke on yesterday's stream. What's up, Tashi? What's up, Jay Fano? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. I haven't seen too much movement regarding the dollar. We were looking pretty bullish on stream yesterday. Bit of a dip in that, but overall the market is trying to push higher. But still, we're trading in that massive level on the higher time frame. So I'm not quite convinced on this bullish momentum just yet until we start to break through that high. And then, yeah, there could be a lot of upside for the next few months, even not necessarily even weeks, if we do get a strong, confident break above this level here at 107. We're looking at us pushing into 114. So there's a lot of upside potential, but at the moment, we're still testing that high. And at this area here, I'm always going to be bearish, expecting to see some downside, but we haven't really got that yet. Dropping back to the 4-hour chart, we pretty much got consolidation. I was talking about this range here for most of the week as price kind of broke out of that, and now it's breaking back inside. So it's very, very messy, but I'm just going to increase the size of that range and just kind of box all of that price action off, because all we've been doing really is back and forth in this area. I did say yesterday that we might see a push up to create some new highs, which could definitely take out liquidity above the high there, and then we could be seeing price top out and then see the next wave to the downside. So I still think that's a nice opportunity. Aggressive, yes, because you'll be shorting against all that momentum, or if you're looking to buy euro, be looking to go long against all that momentum. But it does make sense, taking out highs, still respecting that level. If we do in turn see a nice rejection, I do think that'll be a nice short opportunity. If the market just keeps flying, then yeah, maybe we're going to see a breakout anyway, and we'll be talking about the buys and continuations of that. But for now, market's still trading at a big level. It looks very, very flat at the moment. So I do think we're going to see a little bit of a breakout to kind of fake traders out, and then we might see the continuation later on. So that's still what I'm looking at for USD. These prices still bearish bias until we break through and see a solid close on the weekly chart. Taking that info back into Euro USD, as we can see, pretty much got the same thing. I was talking about this range here this week, but I'm going to widen that to this area here. Overall, very, very flat. Look at the weekly chart. We've still got this massive level here on the left, which price is trading into. And again, looking for price to have a deeper test of that, break the range on the lower time frames, take the low out, and then that might give us a nice buy opportunity. Again, need to see some strong rejection afterwards. I'm not saying wait for the price to break through, then buy straight away, because of course price could keep falling straight through the level. But if we see some rejections, double bottoms after, that could be a nice entry to take back up again. Like I said, it's an aggressive trade, but it makes sense. Taking out lows, you expect price to push up anyway. And because the market's still stretched and we're still testing a really significant level on the higher time frames, you do still expect to bounce. And the beauty is, sure, it's a bit more risky, but if you do catch it correctly, and price does bounce you onto a really nice winner, and you can really maximize your risk reward. I've spoken about this area a few times as a nice place to short from. If you can get a nice move up to there, you're probably looking at decent risk reward, 1 to 3 plus. So looking good there. And also shorts still look great here, but we're not trading anywhere near that level. So not really focused on the break and retest of that area, more so on the potential buy opportunities, which could be looking to arrive sooner rather than later. Pound USD, similar situation. Not as big fan of the buys with pound. Euro's testing a really big level on the weekly chart. Daily is testing some nice lows, but not as significant. So I'm not as much of a fan as buying pound USD as euro. I more prefer the sells, which is all the way up here, 1.285, I believe. 286, 285 roughly. So I still do like that area for a short, but again, we're nowhere trading near that area, so don't need to concern myself with price action with pound USD until we are at those areas. Right now, pretty much more consolidation as well. And the beauty is as well, if euro does a similar move in terms of we spike down to go up, probably see the same thing with pound. It's just I like the technicals better on euro, so that's where I would consider myself going long. Again, I'm not really looking to go long on euro, but if I was, that would be the opportunity. Same with pound USD as well. Spike low for a push back to the upside because the market is so stretched right now. We've been falling out the sky for a very, very long time. So I do expect to see a bounce. Last time we had a big kind of drop for pound was this move here. And look what happened afterwards. Pretty big turnaround. And we've probably done a similar move. If I measure the pips from the high to the low, you're looking at about 1,000 pips there. If you measure from the high to the low here, done about 820, so almost as big as that, but I do expect to see a bounce pretty much soon after. So that is what I'm looking at for pound, but this is the main opportunity I'm still interested in. In terms of dollar CAD I actually think is a nice opportunity. I would have taken dollar CAD really, but it's just a little bit too stretched for my liking. What I mean by that, the market's been trending to the upside very well, almost too well. And I like, if I'm going to go take mean reversion opportunities, I want the market to kind of pull back a lot deeper before I do take a buy. The market is just a little bit too bullish for my liking. I'm taking out some key highs here on the left as well on the weekly chart. So it's just the market is a bit too stretched and I need deeper pullbacks for me to get into the buys I'm looking for. So that's why I didn't decide to buy pound USD. But in terms of setup, very, very nice. Breaking retest off that low there. Strong bullish engulfing candle on the 4-hour chart. Really nice entry signal. We have come back for a retest. Another rejection. Excuse me. Another rejection at that level. So potentially you could be seeing price, really push to the upside. Of course, USD is going to play a big role in that, but I do expect to see a bounce here. The only reason why I haven't taken it is because the market is just a little bit too stretched in the higher time frames. But doesn't mean that we can't still have a bounce. I did talk about this area here yesterday as an area to bank some profit in. If we did catch a buy yesterday, that would have been a nice area to take some profit or just manage the trade. And of course, you could potentially have targets up here, but I would just be a bit careful as we approach that area. Nice level supply where we did consolidate, and I had a really nice drop. But we're there again, and if you're looking for buys, I think the buys still look good back to that same area. But again, I'll just watch out at that level because we might come straight back down. But overall, it does look like dollar CAD could probably see a nice push to the upside. Aussie dollar and New Zealand dollar, these guys have been slowly falling. Haven't seen much movement there on Aussie dollar. We were speaking about the breaking test of this low. It did act pretty well. Nice reaction, and we have seen some downside. Hasn't got back to the low yet, and it hasn't got back to the daily low yet either, which is where I'm expecting Aussie dollar to get to. I'm still looking for a push back into the low here at 0.64. That's still my kind of end goal for Aussie dollar before I start talking about the buys in a bit more detail. I'm still looking for that continuation lower. Now, I said last week that we might see a pullback to retest this area before continuing. So shorts could look good for that swing. I still think they do look good. If price was to get there again, nice double top at the high, I still think that looks like a nice short. If USD keeps its strength up, that could end up being a really nice trade to the downside. New Zealand dollar, I wouldn't look to sell because we're trading at some big levels already. So if I expand to the daily chart and look to the left, you can see where we're trading. Even though the market has been falling very well, now's just not the best time to be shorting, at least from a swing bias. If you're intraday trading, if you're intraday trading, only looking to trade for a few hours, you can get away with some sells because you're not looking to stay too long. But if you're looking for swing trades, now's not the best time to be looking to short, especially when we've got this level here just below us as well. So I am looking for price to turn around. Maybe we might be coming for a double bottom here. I'll see what we can do at this low. But overall, I am looking for a bounce for for New Zealand dollar. Maybe we do push a little bit deeper first into this area before the bounce, but I am expecting the bigger move to be to the upside now for New Zealand dollar. And in terms of gold's been slowly pushing to the upside. I'm still looking to short gold, but yeah, it's just been very, very bullish. Yeah, I stayed at the market yesterday because price didn't quite test my level. And yeah, that paid off pretty well. It kind of missed my level by a very, very small amount. And out of fear of missing out, you could potentially take the trade anyway. But you always want to stick to your plan, stick to the areas which you want to buy and sell from, not try and deviate, especially if you have the fear of missing out. And price did come and test my level and has broken through. So I need to wait for more development now for gold. I still am looking for a lower high, essentially. This is the high that gave us that big drop to the downside, which created these lows here. So essentially, I need price to not break above this high. If we do go and do that, then I would write off the sell opportunities I'm looking at and probably speak about a buy opportunity. At the moment, it might just be price having a really deep correction before push. The market's pretty stretched as well. So I do think we'll see a bit of a reaction. If I whip out the Fibonacci from the high to the low, looks like we're only a few pips away from the 0.786 as well. There's this high here on the left, which we might be coming to retest around 2680. I'll keep an eye on that. That could be where we catch a nice short from. So I'm still keeping an eye on the sales for gold. I still think that's a nice opportunity. Market's pretty stretched. So I do expect it to snap back to the downside pretty soon. As long as we don't take out this high here, I will have that bearish bias. But yeah, the market is definitely looking pretty bullish at the moment and has been flying ever since. And silver, which is a trade I'm still nursing at the moment. Again, it's pretty much. Ooh, have I removed? Yeah, it looks like I accidentally removed it. So yeah, with silver position, I'm just going to be holding on to this one until I am ready to sell gold. Really. Let me get to my take profit. So that level there. So yeah, I'm just looking to hold this until I'm ready to sell gold, basically, because if gold just keeps flying and doesn't give me an entry signal and breaks the high I just mentioned, then I'll just sit in my silver trade and wait for that to hit my take profit around 32.09. If silver starts falling, then you expect gold to start falling as well, and maybe it might give me my entry signal to get short. And then I can speak about getting involved with gold later on. But it's just a matter of waiting, reacting to what price is giving me. At the moment, gold is still so bullish, and I need to be patient. With silver, I've already managed to trade as I planned to. So now it's just letting the market do its thing, whether it is going to come back and take me out break even for the small win, or so you're going to go and hit my take profit. That's up to price now. But yeah, I mean, overall, the market structure is just very, very corrective. The idea with the trade was always looking for the bounce of this area. We've seen that bounce. Now it's just a question, how far will we go? Would it be a continuation, or will price roll over? We'll find out as price develops. But I've managed the trade, so now it's just up to silver. But yeah, that is just kind of where I'm at with the dollar. Still looking for a bit of weakness, to be honest. But just difficult because the market is still so bullish. I'm not a big fan of the price action either. What's up, CS Integrated? Welcome to the stream. What's up, Naiko? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. Kazim, welcome to the stream. Hope you're doing good. I'm doing good. Thank you for asking. Hope you're well. Ahmed, welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. Yeah, we just had a look at gold. I will have a look at dollar yen for you. No problem. Kwame, what's up? Welcome to the stream. Gordon, what's up? Welcome to the stream. Momind, what's up? Cadseat Chef, okay, we'll have a look. See, no problem. Sportsnetic, what's up? Still need to hold CAD Yen. I'm still holding CAD Yen. Plan is to hold that to my targets. Ben, what's up, my man? Hope you're doing well. Good morning, good morning. Hope everyone is well. So yeah, I will go take a look at dollar yen for you, and I did get into a trade in CAD yen yesterday, so I'll go over that as well. But yeah, it looks like the yen pairs are seeing some bearish momentum. We have seen a bit of downside for the yen pairs, and I do think again the bigger move is still to the downside. So I'm still holding on to that bias. Dollar yen was never really a yen pair, which I was looking to short. Still isn't really. This one has been slowly grinding to the upside, higher highs and higher lows, not rejecting any key areas. If I go to the weekly chart, the level which I was looking for dollar yen to reject was this big level here on the weekly chart. we've snapped through that since. So I'm not really interested in shorting dollar yen until we get back below this. And if I see a strong weekly close like that, that would be a really nice indication that dollar yen is probably going to sell off and probably come all the way back to the low here on the weekly chart. So it means that on the 4-hour time frame, if I see some good pullbacks, I'm looking to execute some trades. At the moment, we're still trading above that. We might not see that move. So I'm not really interested in looking to sell. Not really interested in looking to buy either, because I'm pretty bearish on the yen pairs. So it kind of goes against my bias to buy dollar yen. But yeah, we did have a nice setup earlier this week, which was the break and retest of the resistance level here, also testing the trend line as well. So that was a really nice buy setup earlier this week. Hasn't come back to the high yet. Might not. We'll see what happens. Again, that comes down to your trade management. You get into a nice buy setup here. Maybe you're targeting the high. How you're going to manage the trade? Are you just going to be, just hold to your take profit or nothing? That could be a way of managing the trade. Are you going to look to take partials along the way, trade a stop? All those techniques is what you want to decide beforehand. But at the moment, it looks like we're coming back into that area again. So if this area is going to hold, there could be some more entries later on this week. Another rejection. I mean, the trend line has acted pretty well, to be honest. We've seen 1, 2, 3, almost 4 over there. 5 solid tests of this trend line. So it's a very sturdy trend line, and dollar yen is respecting it very, very well. So we could see another test and another bounce. We'll find out when we get there, see what type of price action we can get. Do we see a shift in momentum, some wicks? And there could be a really nice entry signal to take dollar yen to the upside. If we break through, we'll discuss that as well. But for now, I would still actually be bullish on dollar yen if I just exclusively look at this pair. Yen pairs, I'm looking at downside, but dollar yen just isn't doing it for me just yet until we start to break structure. So that still looks like a nice opportunity, but we'll wait and see how we get there and react. And things look good, yeah, there could be some nice buys. At the moment, I'm currently short on CAD yen, which I was talking about yesterday. It was a really nice rejection of the high shortly after I ended the stream. Actually, not shortly after, it was about 6 p.m. UK time when I got the entry. But yeah, it was a bit more of an aggressive trade, but the idea was I'm expecting price to find the top here. Looking at the weekly chart as well, you can see the prior 4 weekly candles all provided big wicks to the upside. So 1, 2, 3, 4 big wicks. So expecting that just to continue for the 5th time. I know price is trading at a really valuable area of resistance as well. You can see prior wicks there on the left. So overall, this is an area where price is likely to find resistance. And where I shorted from was kind of like trying to call the top of the week. If price was going to break through that, I'll stop out the trade and maybe the yen pairs will continue flying. But they rejected the high. So that was my signal that, okay, we're probably not going to break through anymore. We're probably just going to top out. And now I can probably expect price to continue. I'm expecting price to at least get to this area where I probably will look to secure some profits, and then I'll let the rest run, and I'll probably be looking to trail and see how far I can take it. Because to me, I do think there's a good chance we could be pushing all the way back down to these areas, really. So there's a lot of downside potential here with CAD yen. So I will secure some gains at that low just to remove the risk. But I do expect to see a big move like that. I mean, the risk reward looks really, really good, but I won't be holding full positions all the way down. And I might be trailed out long before then as well. But the idea is take some profit here, let the rest run, see what we can do. But the idea is that if I have caught the top there, then there should be a lot of downside opportunity for the yen pairs. But if we are going to reject this level, like I said on the weekly chart, this could be the area where we form that right shoulder for the head and shoulder pattern. So you got the left shoulder over here, you got the head over there, and then you got the right shoulder here, and that could set up a really nice move to the downside. Hence why I'm looking for that swing back to that low. And of course, we had that sending channel as well, and that was another confluence I was looking at for shorting CAD yen, was the fact that the market was still kind of slowly moving in this ascending channel. And as I always say, ascending channels are never really patterns of sustainable momentum or sustainable trends. They normally do end up in selling off, or it depends which way. Of course, if it's ascending channels, selling off to the downside. If it's a descending channel, breaking to the upside. So this structure is just very, very corrective. So I was always expecting to eventually sell off. But looks like we're finding a nice top there. So let's see if we can get back to that first target. Still a long way to go, and then we can speak about potentially trading the rest of the positions. But yeah, I'm still very bearish on the yen pairs. What's up, Cease Integrated? No changes on the DXY strategy as it's just ranging. Yeah, I agree, my man. Jay Ferner, we have great for dollar CAD for intraday. Yeah, I think dollar CAD's a nice buy. As I said earlier, I do think dollar CAD is a nice buy opportunity. The only reason why I'm not taking it is just because the market's just a bit too stretched. We've had such a big move to the upside, so I'm not still looking to follow that. I need the market to correct itself before I do look for buying opportunities. And the fact is we've taken out a major weekly high as well. So I know that price has taken out some liquidity that we haven't done in a long time. The last time we had these prices was October 2022, so past couple of years. So not that we can't just have a nice retest and continue to the upside. That is a definite possibility, but it's just not a trade for me at this moment in time. So yeah, dollar CAD, I do think it's a nice buy. We're coming to a nice level on the 4-hour chart, which we highlighted earlier. Prior resistance once, twice, third time as well. Could see a nice bounce, at least back to this area here. Maybe we come straight back down, or maybe we do get the breakout to the next level. But I think if you secure some gains there, you're looking at a good position, and then maybe you might get the rest to continue higher. But it's testing a nice level, a healthy pullback. I think we've hit 0.5 on the fib as well from the low to the high. Yeah, just about. So yeah, it's a nice opportunity there in dollar CAD, I have to admit. Holy One, what's up? Along trading the yen pairs sells. Okay, looking to go bearish in the yen pairs as well, but not intraday trading on the DAX and EuroCAD yesterday. Yeah, saw the EuroCAD one and the DAX. I think you posted that one on Discord. If you guys are not in Discord, make sure you go check it out. Link in the description to that. Okay, withdraw. We start giving back to the markets. Yeah, take your profits at the end of the day. It's only when you actually withdraw you can actually count the profits as gains, because there's many times you will make a nice amount of profit, but then you give it back and then, okay, you got nothing to show for it. So especially on prop firms as well, I want to realize some of those gains. Ben, what happened to the silver? I'm still in the silver position. I'm still holding on to that one. Again, the silver position, the idea is I'm going to hold on to this one until I get into gold, really, because I'm still looking to short gold. That is still the main play in my head right now, short gold, but gold is still very bullish. I haven't got a signal yet for gold. In fact, we have broken through this area here, which is my initial area I wanted to short from. So now I'm looking a little bit higher around here. Again, sort of another head and shoulder pattern. I'm seeing a lot of them recently in the markets. I'm looking for price to come a little bit deeper back into 2680, and maybe from there we might see a nice reaction. Essentially, as long as gold doesn't break that high, I'm looking to short it. So I'm getting ready to short gold, but at the moment I'm not. So I'm just going to hold on to my silver position, let it do its thing. So moving okay. We had a bit of a bounce yesterday on the retest of this level there. Hasn't really amounted to much, to be honest. So looking a tad bearish right now. But yeah, I'm just going to let the market do its thing. Like I said, I've already taken partials, stop loss at break even, so there's no risk on the table. If it is going to continue, great. If it doesn't, hopefully I get a gold opportunity to compensate. But yeah, I'm just going to keep letting that trade do its thing, really. What's up? Will, welcome to the stream. Hope you're doing good, my man. What's up, FX Wolf? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. Who else is riding? They're selling the yen pairs. Using trading stops approach. Yeah, I'm looking at something similar. What's up? Follow the trend. EU good buys here around the lows. Okay, I'll get onto that in a minute. But yeah, I'm using a mixture between the two of trading stops and targets. I'm gonna look to secure some gains at this low here, and then I'll look to start trading afterwards, because effectively my higher time frame bias is still looking for CAD yen to have a really big sell back into the lows here. That is my bias, because it looks like we're doing a pretty good job at holding onto the high here. So if we are going to hold into this level for CAD yen, there's a good job. We're going to come straight back down. So I want to trail and try and take advantage of that as much as possible. But at the same time, there is some structure in my way. So I do want to secure some gains at that area just in case we do decide to push back up. So yeah, I'm looking to close some profits there, but then the rest I will trail and see how far I can take it. Maybe if I'm lucky, back down to that low. If not, I might be trailed out somewhere else. But yeah, I think trailing stops is the play to do it for the yen pairs, because these guys can really melt. Like I say, with the yen pairs, we do push up a little bit slowly, but when we do sell for the yen pairs, we do normally sell pretty hard. So yeah, keep an eye on that. Which yen pair are you trading, FX Wolf? Cease integrated, have a rule for myself. Okay, take profit, split half to withdraw, and half to trade. That's a good rule, actually, because that way you can slowly compound, but at the same time, you're also realizing some of your profits. Yeah, I like that, to be fair, because you're at the same time, you do want to grow, but at the same time, you do want to realize the gains. You don't want to withdraw all your money, but then you don't want to leave it all in there as well. So you do want to have a bit of a balance. Ben, yeah, the V reversal, yeah, it was really, really aggressive. I wasn't expecting it, to be fair. Pretty wild, yeah. Want to be bearish, but it's hard with the price action. Now, I agree. I do agree, because I'm looking to short gold as well, but because price is so bullish, it's difficult. I mean, I'm still waiting for a bearish engulfing candle before I can actually take the short, and it has broken through my level there. So this was my initial area to short from, but now it's snapped through that. So I don't know, maybe price is going to keep pushing up higher, or maybe price is just going to keep pushing, because there is still a bit of geopolitical unrest at the moment. So that could potentially drive price higher for gold fundamentally. But technically, the sells do look good. I just need to see some heavy rejection now to tell me that this momentum is over. But yeah, I think the shorts look good. Just need to wait for the price action to develop. Noradine, please, don't try to get political here. I'm just here to trade and share my analysis with people. So I'm pretty sure you can find live streams for that. Rob, what's up? Good morning. Hope you're doing good. Thoughts on Ethereum? Okay, we'll take a look at E4 yet. No problem. Holy One, DAX, even big move. Only just okay. I'll give that to you for instant fun. Okay, nice. One prop fund to another. Okay, you're in Euro Yen. Okay, we'll go through the yen pairs in a moment. Let me just go through some of the pairs people requested. Euro USD was one. I think someone else questioned that. If I have missed out a pair, someone mentioned, just let me know. I'll go through Euro USD and then Ethereum. So yeah, for Euro USD, we are trading at some big lows, and I am looking for a bounce here. I'm looking for a big bounce here with Euro. I'm not really looking to buy it, to be honest, because I'm already kind of buying silver. That kind of is this. It's not the same trade, but similar trade. Looking for USD weakness, basically, and for a bounce, which we kind of haven't seen yet with Euro. But I do think it's likely to come because the market is just so stretched, coming to such a big area. There's a good chance the market is going to bounce at this level, and if it doesn't, if it does break through, there's a lot of downside, back to the lows here as well. So I'm not really too concerned what price does, because either way, whether we bounce at this low or break through, there's a lot of movement expected. And actually, I kind of actually want price to break through, to be honest, because I think there could be a nice trend going. And if you can get some similar conditions like we had in 2022 on the way down here, could be some really nice trades. Going into that low. So I kind of actually want that to happen, but just focus on the price action at the moment. Still testing a big low. I still do think a bounce is pretty likely. You can see prices become a little bit slow, a bit more corrective, which again is showing signs of tiring up. So I am looking to see maybe if we do push to the low one more time, take out the lows here, because any early buyers stops are just going to be under here pretty much. So a move there will take that out, and possibly might see a reaction to the upside. And then if the higher time frame buyers step in, sellers exit positions, we might see a bit of a relief and a push to the upside. So something like that looks like a good opportunity. I do second that. I do think the buys Do you look good here for euro? It's a bit of an aggressive trade because you are going against all that momentum, but you are buying at a nice area. So it makes a lot of sense to buy. And of course, DXY is pretty much doing the exact same thing in the opposite direction, a push to the upside. Then we might see price, take a bit of a tumble. So I like the sells in dollar. I like the buys in euro. Not looking to trade it myself. I've kind of got that box ticked with silver buys. But yeah, I do expect to see a bounce, to be honest. And in terms of Ethereum, I'm looking at some upside as well. This one's just been correcting for a while because Bitcoin, I'm pretty sure Bitcoin's still slowly climbing higher, isn't it? Yeah, wow, look at Bitcoin. It was 100K. It's not too far away now, boys and girls. It's very, very close. Yeah, it's probably going to hit it before Christmas, to be honest. So yeah, Bitcoin looks pretty bullish. I do expect Ethereum to copy Bitcoin in a way and continue higher. So I'm looking at Ethereum starting to push soon. Overall, the pullback has been pretty corrective with Ethereum. It's not anything too crazy. Looking at the daily charts, nothing alarming. Like I say with cryptos, the biggest thing is momentum. If price is going to have these breakouts to the upside, you want us to have those corrections. You don't want us to dilly-dally for too long. Then you want to see more momentum. You can see here, really nice move to the upside. We consolidated, then we start to break lower. Not a good sign. You want price to keep the momentum going. Keep the momentum going. We can have obviously corrections whilst that happens, but momentum should come back straight away. If not, you will turn into a big consolidation or things just get a bit stale. So I do expect us to push higher. We are finding support here very well. So I think that looks like a nice area for a buy, to be honest. Position yourself long from there, stops below, and then looking for the continuation, at least back to the high. So yeah, that's still my main play. Still my main play for Ethereum, more upside. Okay. We'll take a look. We'll go through some yen pairs in a second. No worries, Noradine. I appreciate it there. Rizvi, hope I'm saying that correctly. Appreciate it, my man. But yeah, in terms of USD pairs, I'm just not really looking at them apart from gold. Euro USD hasn't retraced, pound USD hasn't retraced. Dollar CAD, like I said, if it wasn't so bullish for so long, I probably would have longed, but just a bit too stretched. I'm not really interested. Aussie dollar, I'm not interested. New Zealand dollar, I'm not interested. Dollar seat chef, I'm not really interested either. Don't really have a setup with that one that ticks my boxes. So yeah, not really interested in that one. So I'm staying away. And in terms of the indices, these guys have been looking a little bit mixed. To be fair, we haven't done much since we last spoke. They've just been moving a bit sideways. Overall, still very bullish on them in the higher time frames. Daily chart, still seeing consistent higher high and higher low. So I'm looking for that pattern to continue until proven otherwise. This is still the area of confidence I'll be looking at for US 30. S&P 500 is testing a nice level at the moment. Are we still holding? Yes, we are. We've had a bit of a bounce, actually. So yeah, we had a bit of a bounce there. Hasn't really amounted to much, though. Yeah, not liking the price action as much. I like the big wick we had a couple of days ago here to the downside. That would have been a nice buying point. That momentum has since failed, so not looking good anymore. Because when I'm looking to take my buys and normally or sells, I'm normally looking to try and get the first bounce off a level. Those are normally the sweet spot. That's normally the best time to buy. If price comes to a level or third, fourth, fifth time, it kind of loses its ability to potentially play out for a bigger move. Still might see more bounces, but it doesn't tend to go very far. So the fact is that S&P has come into this level, tested a couple times already, saw a nice wick, did react pretty well, and it hasn't pushed away. It's a bit of a red flag here. We might be seeing a deeper correction at some point here for S&P, and which kind of makes sense because if US 30 is going to drop back to that level we just mentioned, then you probably will see US 500 S&P drop as well, and NAS as well. I'm looking for this one to drop a little bit further too. I'm looking at this area on the daily chart for a buy. So that's still where I want to see price move into. So if we do see S&P, if we do see US 30 and NAS take a drop as well, probably we'll see S&P drop as well. So yeah, I'm still looking at the buys, but I want to see a bit more retracement. That was a really big move we had from last week. This might just be the correction of that, and we might see a continuation now. And then possibly the bounce higher. But overall, I'm still bullish, still looking for a lot more upside for the NAS and the indices in general. SMC price action, ICT. I mean, they're all pretty much the same. They're all pretty much price action, Noreen. Price action is the study of price. So SMC, ICT, whatever, trend line, support, resistance, it's all the same thing. It comes under the umbrella of price action. But I suppose by price action, you mean like traditional methods like support, resistance, trend lines, moving averages. I'd say it doesn't really matter in terms of the strategy. It's more depends on how the trader uses it, really, because you can have the same strategy as another trader. One could have a 30% win rate, another could have a 40, another could have 50, another could have a 60. But they're using the same concept. So it doesn't really matter about the strategy, it just matters how you implement it. So my best advice would be find something, test something that works. And that could be any kind of thing. Support resistance work, trend lines work, moving averages work. I would recommend using Confluence, not just one particular tool, but using an array of tools to find an edge, and then just get very, very good at it. You want to become a master at whether you're going to focus on whatever tool it is or tools. You just want to become good at it. So there is no necessarily better method, but there are better traders. Some people can find systems and make them work very, very well because of their understanding of it and how they implement it. So don't get too caught up about the strategy you're using. It's not going to make or break you 100%. It's how you trade it. Anyway, we'll go through some yen pairs. I was supposed to go through CAD CHF earlier. I'll go through CAD CHF first. CAD CHF looks, but okay, ready in pound CAD, so I'll stay away. Don't want to overdo it on the CAD, I see. Test some resistance. 4 months on CAD CHF. Okay, I'll have a look at CAD CHF. CAD CHF is a bit of an awkward one because I'm not convinced about the buys yet. Yeah, I'm not quite convinced about the buys. If we can break and retest this area, then I'll be a lot more convinced about the buys. 0.63154. If we can break through that, then I will be okay. Maybe price is pushing up because I think at that point we breaking above this low here too. So yeah, I think there is a lot of upside for CAD CHF because of how we've been moving. Every time the market does create a new low here, it does have its big push up. So it creates the low, big move to the upside, breaks the low here as well. Then eventually we did have that big move to the upside, breaks the low here as well. So I do expect us to pretty much, go through that big move to the upside, maybe come back and test the trend line in this area. That could be where CAD CHF is going to move to. So I do think there's a lot of upside potential. I think these are all-time highs, if I'm not mistaken, as well. All-time lows, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, these are all-time lows as well. So we are due a move to the upside for CAD CHF 100%. If we can break that resistance on the daily chart, which I just mentioned. Okay, let me clean up the chart now. Just made it very messy. So yeah, if we can break through this area, then I'll be a lot more convinced about the buys. So something like that, and then a continuation. And like I said, possibly that trend line could be an area we could target, or at least this low here. That might be a nice first target. But yeah, CAD CHF has a lot of upside. It does have a lot of upside. I can see how price is moving, breaks the low, push up, breaks the low, push up. And the fact that we're all-time lows as well means that we are due a pullback at some point. CHF pairs and FX pairs in particular never really break lows and continue falling unless there's a crisis happening. So I do expect us to revert and back and see a push back to the upside. But I would wait for 0.63 to break and then I'll speak about some retest above that, because like I said, we'll be back above this low here as well. So two birds, one stone sort of thing. $300 or prop firm or broker. I mean, it's a very personal decision at that point. It's difficult to say because it depends on your situation as well. It depends on what you're looking to do with that money. Are you looking just to grow it and not look to access it? You're looking to grow it and then use it as funds to potentially live or purchase things. It's a very personal decision. I want to say I don't want to recommend to do something. All I can say is that with prop firms, you've got the ability to access larger capital and make larger gains. But at the same time, you still want to have a personal capital which you're in full control of. So maybe you can use some of it to purchase a prop firm challenge and use the rest just to keep in a personal account. But again, that's a very personal decision. That'll be up to you based on your situation. So yeah, that's all I can say on that really. Okay, Vincent, we will take a look at pound CAD. Yeah, appreciate it, Ben. No need to spam people. I will see your message at some point. Okay, we'll take a look at pound CAD. So, look at that. Okay, pound CAD's looking good there, Ben, eh? We're seeing some really nice downside. We've broken through that low, really nice close yesterday. I remember price was looking a little bit bullish, and then that just formed a big wick, and now we're looking very, very bearish. So yeah, pound CAD is falling out the sky at the moment. And with this break, of course, we have broken through the trend line there as well. We did that quite a while ago, to be honest, but I like that break. And yeah, the break of this low here is very pivotal, very, very pivotal. So I think most likely there's a good chance we're going to push back to 1.745 now-ish, back into that low. There's a massive level here as well, which could come in retest, but I think that's a significant low, which we'll probably consider first. So yeah, pound CAD looking really good, to be honest, looking really bearish as well, falling pretty hard. So in terms of opportunities, I would wait for price to break down a little bit further before I consider a retest of that area. But to me, that looks like the next best opportunity. The retest of this low now was solid support a couple times. Now it can act as resistance, but there's a lot of momentum in the market. And if you do keep falling, that could end up being a really nice place to retest around 1.77. And then you might see a nice clean move on the way down, since we had a pretty nice one on the way up. Hopefully a nice drop back into 1.745 there. And then we can talk about potentially a bounce or something like that. But overall, yeah, I like the price action there for pound CAD. Looking pretty bearish. Yeah, we did crack support pretty well. We did crack support. Dump it. Yeah, I mean, it's looking pretty good, I have to say. It's looking really good. Momentum's looking good as well. We broken support. So I think as long as we don't get back above that now, you're probably in the money back to that low eventually. So yeah, looking really good in there in pound CAD. How long takes you? Probably about 3-ish years, to be honest. No problem, Vincent. Happy to help. So yeah, we'll go through the yen pairs now. FX Wolf said he is short on euro yen, so we'll start with that one. So yeah, the yen pairs have been a bit of a ruckus lately. They've been up and down, causing all sorts of problems. They were looking very, very bullish just before we got on the stream yesterday, and now they're looking very, very bearish. And that's the thing about trading and about the markets, is that things are looking very bullish until they're not, and things are looking very bearish until they're not. Because a lot of people on the stream yesterday were saying, because I was looking to short CAD yen, which looked very bullish at the time. So it was a little bit apprehensive looking to short a market that was bullish. But as a swing trader, you're always going to be looking to take the opposite side of momentum most of the time, unless you're really looking to continue a move. So you're always going to be shorting markets that look a little bit bullish or look a little bit bearish. And that's the same situation here for euro yen as well. The key thing for me is always going to be market structure. If we can respect market structure, then I'm not going to be concerned if the market's looking a little bit bullish or bearish. If we were to go and break the high, like I mentioned yesterday, then yeah, that would be a big red flag. And at that point, okay, we probably are going to keep pushing up high, because there's a significant change in price. We've broken through a high. At the moment, yes, price is looking pretty bullish, but hasn't changed anything. I know we've taken out this high here, but that to me was never really a significant high anyway. So I was never going to change the bias until we broke that high. And then, of course, this morning we've had a really big sell-off, and now price is looking pretty bearish. And if I go look at the weekly chart here, look at the big wick we've left behind in the weekly chart. A really big wick in this high. Last week we did the same thing as well. On Friday, the big drop on Friday, price was looking bullish for most of the week, and then suddenly a big drop, and we left a big wick to the upside. Now it looks like we've done that again as well. I know we still got 1 day and 12 hours left before the weekly candle does close, but so far it looks like we probably will leave a wick at that level. Whether we continue being bearish or close bullish is yet to be seen. But the key thing is, anyway, is that we're rejecting this level. That's why I said that makes me bearish on euro yen. The fact is we're rejecting this high, possible big head and shoulder pattern, which, if does play out, will take us back to the lows here at 155. So there's a lot of downside opportunity for euro yen. That's why, if you are shorting the yen pairs, having a trading stop loss is probably the best way for it, because you're leaving yourself open to potentially catching a really big drop. And as I say as well, for the yen pairs, when they do sell off, they do sell off. They don't mess around at all. Yeah, I am liking the price action here with euro yen. Structure still being respected. In terms of opportunity now, I would wait for the break of this support level here. This has been a pretty critical level of support, pretty much like a head and shoulder pattern on the 4-hour chart as well. So if you can get a break of that, I would like a break of the neckline, essentially, lower high, continuing with that structure there. High, lower high, lower high, lower high, looking for the next one somewhere. And yeah, expecting us to actually plummet to the downside. There's some areas here you can look at taking some partials or managing the trade how you see fit. But overall, euro yen to me looks like a very bearish market. It's testing some support now, so we might dance here a little bit, but I do expect us to break out. As long as we don't go and break structure now with euro yen, so as long as we don't break this high here, I'm staying bearish. Break that high, I will think about the bullish side of things, or at least I won't be looking to sell the market anymore. But yeah, I'm expecting more downside here for euro yen. In terms of pound yen, similar situation as well. In fact, pound yen was the yen pair I thought I was actually going to be trading this week, to be honest, instead of CAD yen. But pound yen did break through my area. It did close back below, so that would have made it valid setup for me. And again, the key thing with pound yen is still respecting structure. At a high over there, another high over there, third one anticipated over here, and looking for that to continue. Strong close back down again, retested that trend line really well. Could have probably found some entries on the lower time frames instead of waiting for the 4-hour bearish engulfing, but if you did, that would be a nice entry there. And again, at least looking for a push into the low. I do think we can go a lot further as well. So with pound yen, I'm looking for more downside. I have been talking about a retest of this level here, which we just missed out early on the week, but probably we're going to go and hit that now. So at least looking for pound yen to get to 193.5, and then we'll judge from there. Maybe we have another bounce. Maybe we smash straight through, but at least looking for us to get to 193.5. So yeah, pretty bearish on pound yen. In terms of Aussie yen and New Zealand yen, these guys are still stuck in their consolidation, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, so we had a nice reaction with them, but overall still in the range. So I'm not really too interested with them until they do break out of this box. But when they do, I think there could be some really nice opportunities, because again, looking for us to come back into the low here. And we have a lot of pips to capitalize on if that's the case. Drop to the 4-hour. If we can get a break of that consolidation, looking for the retest, and then Bob's your uncle, you got a really nice short there, back to the low. Again, another one you can look to trail and see how much you can take advantage of. And yeah, looking for the retest of that low. And New Zealand yen, same thing as well. I think this one's looked a little bit more bearish, yeah, but still effectively in that range. So nothing really to report on just yet. Looking for the same situation, the break of the low, looking for some retest of that area, and again looking to capitalize on a big swing to the downside back into its respective low at around 86. So yeah, very bearish on the yen pairs. Very, very bearish. Nothing has changed from that, from my view. Of course, CAD JPY is the one I'm trading at the moment after respecting the high. Really nice rejection with that bearish engulfing candle. Did leave behind a little bit of a wick, but not big enough for me to not take the trade. And now we've seen a nice reaction. So at least looking for a push into this area, which is about a 1 to 2, where I'll look to secure some profits, and then hopefully we can get the break of that. And then that's when I'll start looking to trail the remaining positions to hopefully push back down to 103, which is very, very far away. If I calculate that in pips, you're looking at about 770 odd pips. So it's a pretty big move, especially for an 81 pip stop loss. But yeah, CAD Yen looking pretty bearish as well. It's another yen pair, which again was moving in that ascending channel. So I do expect us to eventually break out this channel and get the bigger move. And the key thing about CAD Yen as well on the higher time frames, if I move this out of the way, we're still rejecting that weekly level, which is the key reason why I'm going short and expecting a lower high, as the market has done such a good job at rejecting these levels. So if that can maintain, let's see if we can get another wick to the upside again this week. And then maybe next week we might get a really nice continuation to the downside. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with the yen pairs, really. Just expecting more downside and lower lows and lower highs. Dollar yen, like I said, just isn't quite ready yet for me to be shorting or look to short anyway. So not really interested in dollar yen until we can get back below that weekly level. And then CHF JPY, not really interested at all either. To be honest, I'm not really interested about getting into another yen pair because I'm already trading CAD yen. So already tick that box. But yeah, CHF JPY is still just a little bit too corrective for my liking. It has seen some nice bearish structure, sure, but it's just really corrective here. So I'm looking for one price to break structure and then possibly some opportunities on the back of that. But yeah, if I'm trading stops on CAD yen, then I don't see the need. But yeah, pretty bearish on the yen pairs, expecting to see how far they can go. What's up, Tom? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're doing good. Yeah, hopefully. I mean, I'm pretty sure a few people have. I know a few people in some trades, pound CAD, some of the indices as well. I think someone's trading euro yen as well. He's still looking to short gold, because I remember yesterday you were mentioning about some shorts on gold. Still kind of slowly climbing to the upside. Yeah, nothing much so far. But that's the thing as well. We could see nothing for a few hours and then boom, the market's looking bearish and the opportunities thick and fast. We don't really have much in terms of the news, I don't think. Excuse me. Okay, no, we do have jobless claims at 1:30. We got inflation rate for yen at 11:30. That should be interesting. But yeah, only in terms of USD, we got a bit of news at 1:30. Jobless claims, not the biggest event in the world, but maybe it might cause a bit of movement in the market. We do have existing home sales as well at 3:00, but not expecting much with that one either. So news overall, not the biggest. Don't expect gold to be doing anything crazy, but I don't know. I think maybe fundamentally, gold might be being heavily bought right now, so that might keep it bullish. In terms of the technicals, it does look like a nice short still, but yeah, just seeing really impressive momentum, strong bullish close after strong bullish close. Unless we start to see that change, maybe we do keep pushing up. Mo, what is up? US 500. Okay, we'll have a look. See. So yeah, as I mentioned with S&P, I'm not a big fan of S&P anymore. I was at the start of the week. It looked good in the bounce of this level, but I've already had a few tests now, and we had a really nice rejection with this wick and a nice push to the upside, but all that momentum didn't really sustain, and all price has done is just come straight back down. So not a great sign. Normally when price does test levels, it's normally you see the first or second test and then we're on our way. If price comes for a third time, fourth, fifth, even more than that, it's not really a sign that the price is likely to turn away from that level. It might still, bounce a few times. In terms of seeing a bigger move like this, is pretty. It becomes less likely to happen. So because we haven't pushed away yet, I do think price is probably going to break through this at some point and have a deeper correction. Maybe come back to this area here where we had all that momentum stem from, and come back and retest 57.60. This could be a nice area for a bounce. Maybe not necessarily to swing it all the way to the high, but at least for a bounce somewhere, maybe back to that same level. And that could be a really nice trade in itself, depending on your entry. Could still be looking at a decent risk reward there. But yeah, I'm not as convinced as I was at the start of the week, really, with S&P buys. Things did look good, especially with that week there on that wick there on Monday. Or was that Tuesday? Tuesday. And really nice momentum afterwards, but then it just came straight back down. So after seeing that, not as convinced we'll push away, and I think we'll probably see a break underneath. So if you're looking for buys, I would wait for price to come a little bit deeper first. Yeah, and that would be my new preferred area of interest. It was really rough. We had a few losses back to back. Yeah, not every week's going to be a good week, Tom. It's about managing those losses. At the end, the most important thing to do is just always review your trades back. Review your trades back and make sure that they were aligned for your plan. If they were, tick that box. Then you want to do another review in terms if they were of good quality enough, if they made enough sense, which is a bit more subjective, but you kind of want to do that to try and sieve out the slightly lower quality trades, and then you can focus on the better ones. But at the end of the day, as long as you followed your plan, you manage your risk, you're supposed to have bad weeks. Bad weeks are going to happen to even the best of traders as well. I always say that the hardest bit about trading is what you do when you're having your losses, because when everyone's taking wins, which everyone will go and go through, everyone will take a bunch of wins. Trading is a bunch of probabilities. That means even the worst of traders will go through a nice winning streak. So, when things are winning, it's very easy to trade and look happy and be loving your trading. But when things aren't going great and going through a few losses, that's when it's make or break time. So a lot of people will take those losses and then spiral out of control, revenge trade, bet too much, not follow their plan, you name it, fear of missing out. But if you can stick to your plan during the hard times, you're better than 90% of people, really. Okay, looking for sells. Yeah, I think we probably will sell off, to be honest. Like I said, I don't think this level will hold. I think we probably will push down. In terms of finding a sell, though, I'd probably wait for price to see if we can push back to the high here. This is looking like a nice little level there. Price had a nice rejection once over there, second time over there. If we could push to that area third time, and that could be a nice place for a short. Stops above the high and look to capitalize on the move down. So I like that short there. At least we're kind of away from the noise, because the market is still a little bit choppy here. So trying to find some entries in this area might be a little bit difficult in terms of a good entry anyway. But if we can push up to these areas here, I think not only is it just a better place to sell from, it's also a better risk reward as well, back into the lows too. So I think in terms of sells, that's kind of where I would be focused, around 59.27. Yeah, but I do think we'll probably sell off really with S&P. Not so convinced with the buys anymore. That looks heavy. Okay, we'll go take a look at the DAX. No problem, Tom. Keep it up, my man. Keep it up. Okay, we'll go through GR30. So yeah, would you look at that? We're back there again. So yeah, this one's a bit annoying. I'm not gonna lie, to be honest. This is the same situation as I just mentioned with S&P, in terms of we test it once, test it twice, test it third time. This is the fourth time, I'm pretty sure, because we had one over there. Now it came second here, third here, fourth here. So although price is doing a pretty good job at respecting the level, um, yeah, I just don't like the setup really at all. Because if price was just going to continue to the upside and continue the momentum here, continue this bullish trend, we probably would have done it by now. We wouldn't keep messing around. Now, again, that's a rule of thumb. It doesn't happen every time. Sometimes the market does test levels 4 or 5 times and then suddenly does move. Of course, nothing's 100% in the markets, but more often than not, you're going to see the better moves happen either in the first or second test of a level or an area. If price is dancing around for 4 or 5 times, normally isn't going to see that move anymore. So again, we've come back there again. We might see a nice bounce for a few hours, but I do think at this point in time, we probably will get the break of that area and come a bit deeper. If I expand to the daily, no, that's not the daily chart. There we go. Expand to the daily chart. Trying to see the next best area. I mean, this is a pretty significant area where we formed that low and had a big push up. So we might come back to near enough that area, 18,450. But overall, I'm not a big fan of the DAX. I'm not going to lie. I'm not a big fan at all. I think the shorts even look better, really, to be honest. If price was to push back to the high up here, I wouldn't mind that as a short. Kind of nice little double top. And then trying to catch that next lower high. We've had one over there, second there, third, maybe a fourth in that kind of area. Maybe some trend line confluence creeping into the market there as well. So the shorts actually look pretty good to me. I like the shorts more than the longs now. But if I'm going to buy, I need price to come a little bit deeper. That area it's used its magic up now. So the shorts look a little bit better. So yeah, DAX not looking the best. I have to mention. No problem, Mo. Happy to help. Kwame, Eurocad looking bearish. Okay, yeah, we just had a look at PoundCAD and that was falling out the sky. So Eurocad's probably doing similar stuff. I'm not gonna lie. We'll go through Eurocad though. We'll take a look at New Zealand. Oh, okay, Tom, you got New Zealand dollar position there. I missed that message. Since Tuesday. Okay, we'll have a look at that New Zealand dollar one. Don't like gold anymore. Okay, fair enough. Okay, I thought you meant like you don't like gold anymore, like as a whole, but you mean you don't like gold as a setup itself. Okay, I get that. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's been very, very bullish. We've just been storming to the upside, so it's a much difficult short now. Because as I say, when I'm looking for continuations and pullbacks, I want there to be strong impulse in the move down, and then of course I want the pullback to be a bit slow, a bit more corrective. Doesn't have to be perfect, but I just want to be a clear kind of different characteristic between the up move and the down move. Down move, yeah, very impulsive. Tick that box very well. The up move is a little bit more corrective, but still pretty impulsive as well. It's not the best setup. Like, for example, if you compare this setup on the left here, really nice corrective play after really strong impulse. That's kind of textbook stuff there. This one, it's like in the middle a little bit. I still do expect gold to eventually hit a top and see some downside. It might not be the big continuation I once was expecting back to the lows, but it might be something like this before maybe gold does push up some more. But to be honest, I'm not going to try and force anything. Like I said, until I get a good setup on gold, I'm still going to hold on to my silver position, really. So I'm not too worried about trying to force anything on gold at the moment until I see something really good. But yeah, gold is looking very bullish. It is difficult to short it at the moment, I must say. But yeah, we'll take a look at that New Zealand dollar position you mentioned earlier. We'll go through EuroCAD as well. Vincent, how do you get valid support and resistance? Good question. Well, it's an interesting question because support resistance is valid kind of everywhere, but you just want to be particular about where you are drawing them. And predominantly where I'm looking at support and resistance, there's two kind of support and resistance levels I look at really. It's the ones where you got, price just kind of test it as support resistance numerous times. So use it resistance somewhere, support, resistance again, support. So that's a support resistance level which price is just respecting on numerous occasions. And then you got support resistance, which is the areas I kind of normally trade from, which is basically just the highs and lows of market structure. So the high here would be a valid area of resistance. The low here would be a valid area of support. That's support there as well. That's resistance there as well. So those are the areas I normally look to trade from in terms of my break and retest and continuations and double tops as well. Say price was to form a high there, push down, retest it. Yeah, that's another place I was short. Like at the moment, my CAD JPY position is just the retest of the high on the left here. So retesting the high, that's why I shorted. My silver position is literally the retest of a prior area of resistance on the daily chart. So as you can see, resistance down the left, taken across, acting as support. All it is just following that market structure there and coming back to retest that same area. So 90% of my trades normally occur just on retest of market structure. And then you got the ones where price kind of tests the area a lot, which would be this area here. Area of resistance a lot, could act as resistance again. So effectively, if you want to trade support resistance, well, you want to be very specific with the levels you're trading from. And I think the best way to look at it is just use highs and lows of market structure, because at least that way you can be consistent and identify them pretty easily. And then you can look to modify and adapt and see what trades work well, and you can focus on that and discard the rest. But mostly I'm just focusing on highs and lows really as support resistance. But yeah, in terms of that New Zealand dollar position, let's have a little look see. And I'll go through some of the crosses. Okay, holding New Zealand dollar since Tuesday from 0.591. Okay, looking good there. 591's around here. Stop loss at break even targets 0.58. Oh, okay, looking good though, Tom. Hasn't been such a bad week after all. Got a nice little short there. I know it's still pretty far away from your targets, but worst case scenario, I assume it will be a break even for you if price does push up and you got your stop loss at break even there. So looking good. It's always a little bit difficult because we are trading at some massive areas of support right now with New Zealand dollar. So I understand you looking to follow that momentum and follow that momentum there, but there's always that possibility that price might bounce at this low here. So if I was in your position, I might take some partial, but that's up to you how you manage your trades, just in case we do bounce at that area. But if you are going to break through this level, then this will be the next level I expect price to get to, which is more or less where you've got your target. So I think your target does make sense. I'll just watch out with this area here. It's make or break. If we do end up clearing that low, there's a pretty high chance we do go and test 0.58. If we kind of mess around here, then we might turn around. So a similar position to what Ben had yesterday with pound CAD. If you can break the support, should be in the money. But yeah, it's looking pretty good. Momentum looks good. I think USD is still relatively strong as well. So if that sustains, we might keep pushing. We'll go through EuroCAD as well. Oh, look at that EuroCAD. So yeah, I did miss a short here. I mean, I didn't miss it. I decided not to take it because of the wick on the weekly time frame. But it was an opportunity last week I was looking at, but I decided not to take it. But yeah, looking really good. And it looks like we are just making our way back down to that low there. So 1.46 is looking pretty likely to be hit. Maybe by the end of the week as well. I mean, it's Thursday today. If that continues, then Friday momentum, we might push into that level. So yeah, EuroCAD is looking pretty weak. Again, that was the place to short from in the retest of the low. I think that now that boat has sailed. Maybe a retest of this area could look good, but it's not big enough for me to look at. Maybe in the lower time frames, it could be a nice setup to consider. But yeah, EuroCAD looking pretty bearish. I do think 1.46 is likely where we're going to end up. So yeah, really nice move. I know Holy One was in some shorts with EuroCAD there. I think someone else as well. Appreciate it, Vince. Happy to help. Rob, what's up? Opinion on UK 100. Okay, must be something about it. Okay, I'll go take a look. Yeah, UK 100 is a bit more of a choppy index. So I don't think a lot of people like trading it, but I will have a look. See, no problem. Last one here to sell gold. It has come miles down before consider getting in. Okay, yeah. Yeah, because I'm pretty sure it's probably miles away from the 50 moving average now. Kwame, deal with drawdown, and anyone who has dealt with drawdown. Yeah, drawdown is always a tricky one. It's funny. The funny thing about drawdown is the more you experience it and the more you get out of drawdown, the more confidence you have, and the more and the less drawdown affects you. It's kind of like a self-fulfilling prophecy, because if you go into drawdown and you get back out of drawdown, you're like, oh, okay, that wasn't so bad. You go into more drawdown, you get back out of it. And then every time you go into drawdown, you're like, okay, the last 10 times I was in drawdown, I always got back out. So, why is this going to be any different? I've got a strategy, I've got a plan, I'll stick to that. So it's always difficult once you're kind of, you got a plan and you got a strategy and you're fairly new to that strategy and you go into a bit of drawdown. That's always going to be the hardest time. If you've been trading the markets for the past 6-7 years with the same strategy, you've gone into drawdown multiple times and you've always come out. Drawdown is not going to affect you because you've got the experience and you always come out of it. If it's the first time in a new strategy, it's going to be very difficult because you're not going to have that much faith. But my biggest tip is just keep trading it and just keep focusing on the analysis, not so much the P&L, which of course is easier said than done. But in reality, that is what it is. To be honest, you just got to keep trading it, and just know that either way, you will have the answer to your question. Because when you're in drawdown, the question is always, is this strategy actually profitable, or am I just wasting time? Well, if you keep trading it, the next 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 trades, you will find the answer to that question, if the strategy is worth your time or not. So the biggest way to handle drawdown is just keep trading, keep going for it, keep managing the risk, keep taking the same trades, and you will find the answer to your question out eventually. But you need to give yourself some time. I say at least 50 trades before you even judge something, and then you can go from there. But yeah, drawdown's a funny thing. The more you experience it, the more you get out, the less it affects you, really. But in the beginning, that's the hardest test, really, which is probably why a lot of people start and stop and keep changing strategies. Yeah, that's true as well, Holly. Support resistance is subjected to each trader as well, and it's an area, not a line. Yep, I agree. Yeah, that's very true as well, and that's why technical analysis is always a difficult thing, because it's just the trader doing their analysis themselves. I could have the same concepts as someone else, but I would mark my charts differently because I will see the markets a little bit differently. So the key thing is just areas of where people are buying and selling. That's effectively what support resistance is. Mapping out where sellers are sitting and where buyers are sitting. And the way to look at that is look at the turning points in the market. That's effectively where buyers and sellers are sitting. Map out those areas. And then as you gain experience, you get a feel for them, and you know where you want to focus your efforts or not. But there's key things to look at, highs and lows, focus on that first and build from there, I would say. That's kind of the best way to go. But anyway, let's go through UK 100. Okay, so we're not too far away from that area. We have broken through this level though, so we might actually see a bit of a short opportunity here. But yeah, you can see how corrective the market structure is. It's definitely not the cleanest one in the world. I think there could be a nice short here for UK 100 though. As I said, we're testing a nice level here on the daily chart. Price support, a lot of wicks in this area. Now coming back into that same area, seeing some more wicks. So we already know that the daily chart is having a little bit of difficulty trying to break through this. There's some resistance here on the 4-hour as well, where you can see price has respected it once, second time there. So we might push up one more time, see some rejection at that area, and that could be the short that takes us right back to the lows here, or at least back to this low at 8K, big psychological level there. So yeah, UK 100, I'll be looking at some downsides, to be honest. It's coming back into a nice area there on the 4-hour chart, 81.37. That would be the area we're looking to sell from. Of course, if price breaks above that, then that will invalidate the shorts for me. But at the moment, really solid level of support, doing a pretty good job. And I would expect us to come back into this low now. So yeah, if we can hold on to that, looking for the next lower high in this kind of sequence here. Again, it's not the cleanest market structure, but it fits the mold here. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the drop. So yeah, that's kind of what I'll be looking at for UK 100. It's kind of all over the place, but overall, I do expect to see some more downside there for UK 100. But yeah, I mean, I'm looking to add more indices to my watch list, but I don't think UK 100 will be one of them, to be honest. Tacola, what's up? Prop challenge. Yeah, I'm going to be looking to do that with my own firm because there's some issues with funding pips because of my affiliation with, of course, my Elevating Traders own firm. There's some conflict of interest there, so I'm having some issues with that. So I think I'll be doing it on my own firm instead, and of course, it makes sense too. It's my firm. I mean, I probably will do on my own firm as you know, because it will kind of cross two birds with one stone, hit two birds with one stone. But yeah, I'll probably do on my own firm because yeah, it's definitely a conflict of interest if I continue to do that, especially with Fund the Pips new policy as well. But yeah, to be fair, I'm still pretty busy. I'm still sorting out payment providers for Elevating Traders, which is a bit of a pain, to be honest. But there is some light at the end of the tunnel. Things are coming into place now, so hopefully a lot more payment options will be available in the next coming weeks for Elevating Traders. I know a lot of people had some issues trying to make payments. So do keep an eye on that. And there will be some updates in the Discord. And if you're not in the Discord, go check out the Discord. Link to that in the description below. But yeah, I mean, at the moment, I'm not a big fan of UK 100 or kind of the other indices, to be honest. In terms of my personal trading, it's just going to be CAD yen and silver for now. See how these boys get on. So far, looking okay. Like I said, this was a bit more of an aggressive position, but the risk reward made sense. And if price did break through that high anyway, I would have kind of flipped my bias there actually with CAD yen completely, and then silver slowly pushing to the upside there anyway. So if gold keeps flying, then hopefully silver keep flying too. Then I don't have to worry about shorting gold. Wow, yeah, gold's still pushing. So keep an eye on the boy. It's taking its time at the moment. But yeah, I'll go through some of the crosses. I still do like New Zealand CHF. That's still the only other pair really which I can probably maybe find some entries this week. I'm looking to see if price can push back into the low here, 0.514 for a buy. So I'm keeping a close eye on that for New Zealand CHF. I think this is the only other pair which I might find a trade on this week. Yeah, unless gold sets up, there's no other pair which I'm looking at closely. There's a few pairs I'm looking at, but nothing in terms of a setup right now. If New Zealand CHF does push to this area, hits that level, then I will look for a nice buy in anticipation of a strong reversal on the weekly chart. And again, we're trading at these significant lows, so I do think a bounce is likely. I do think for the CHF pairs, a big buy is on the cards. A lot of them at some areas where we might be turning around. But I'll wait to see how everything unfolds before I cement that longer time frame bias. But yeah, New Zealand CHF, that's the buy I'm looking for. Going to wait patiently to see if that comes into fruition. Aussie CHF, this one's a myth. No idea what price is trying to do. I mean, of course, Aussie CHF is a similar pair to New Zealand CHF, so they do similar things. But in terms of the market structure, it's just very difficult to get a good gauge in the market right now. I mean, we sort of got some bullish structure going on here, but it's just very corrective. We've got a high there, which is a bit random. So I'm just not in love with the price action, really. So I don't see myself trading this pair unless we'd come back to the high here. or come back into the lows there. I don't see myself looking to take a trade here, especially if I'm trading New Zealand CHF as well. It's a heavily correlated pair, so I don't need to try and do anything with this one. But if New Zealand CHF does push up, maybe this does push up as well. We'll have to wait and see. But in terms of the areas of confluence, that's where my interest lies. So I'm waiting for that. In terms of CAD CHF, we spoke about this one already. I do think a big buy is on the cards if we do clear the range high, which looks like price is slowly working towards. Let me just clean up the chart, which is slowly working towards. I want to see price give me a confident candle closure above all of this noise, preferably even above the wick high here as well. That'd be a really nice candle closure. Then after that, then I can speak about some breakouts and some upside. Overall, from the CAD CHF, we've been rejecting the highs really well. So I have been looking for price to roll over. It looks like we're still trying to push on here. So if we do decide to get the breakout, then yeah, the longs could look good shortly afterwards. Euro CHF, I believe, is looking pretty bearish. Yeah, falling to the downside. Looks like we might finally going to hit this level. I know quite a few people have been looking at shorting Euro CHF back to this low here. And now it's finally happening. And that's the thing, if you're a CHF, the bias was always short, but it's just timing that move is just very, very difficult. Yeah, and that's the thing with CHF pairs, they do take their time, but eventually they do come through. And now we're looking pretty bearish back into that low. So again, we might see a bit of a bounce as we hit that level, but I don't think there's a good opportunity anymore with Euro CHF. Yeah, not really see much with that pair apart from maybe a buy at the low. In terms of pound CHF, lastly, this one as well coming back into the low, I'm pretty sure, at least the low of the range. Yeah, might see a bit of a bounce there to the upside as well as we continue back and forth. But overall, not a big fan of the conditions of the pair. So yeah, out of the CHF currency pairs, only New Zealand CHF ticks the boxes. Yeah, only New Zealand CHF ticks the boxes at the moment. And in terms of the crosses like your pound Aussies and your pound NZDs, these guys still look very, very choppy. I think pound Aussie might be a nice setup if you do get back to the low at 1.93. Might see a nice bounce there. Not my favorite pair in the world, and not a pair I'm looking to get involved in, to be honest. I probably find better setups than that. But if you're looking at pound Aussie, that is the area which I would be looking at myself if I had to trade this pair. Because at the end of the day, the market's still pretty consistent for these high lows, 2, 3, possibly 4 there. Coming back into a significant low itself. There's a good chance we do bounce here. Maybe not a continuation back to the highs, but at least something we can profit from. So I don't mind that setup there for pound Aussie. Very similar to pound NZD as well, which is also got a similar setup, retesting the high here. And of course, coming back into this area with those higher lows. Could see another test there as well. So looking for pound NZD to do its thing there too. But again, not really my preferred setup. Maybe if we continue being corrective and depends how we react, I might give it a stab. But if there are better opportunities at the time, then I'm not gonna force anything. And then you got your lovely Euro NZD and Euro Aussie. These guys not looking too hot either. I mean, they're both doing their head and shoulder pattern impressions, and they're doing it pretty well, to be honest. If we do get the break of that neckline, do expect us to come back into that low, that being the neckline there. So there could be some opportunities on the retest of that area. Same thing with Euro Aussie as well. I mean, oh, look at that one. So that means Aussie is very strong compared to NZD at the moment, because this head and shoulder pattern is playing out pretty much to the T. Retest the high. I'm seeing a lot of head and shoulder patterns in the market recently. A lot of them. And of course, that being the neckline, we smash through that. You're expecting us to go and hit that low. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm expecting price to get to next now. Push back to 1.600. Not a bad opportunity actually on the retest. Nice retest of that low. Could be a nice little trade. But again, still not my preferred setup, but that's where I do see market getting to. And then maybe we see that break eventually and a bit of a trend forms. But yeah, overall, very, very choppy pairs. Not really looking to get involved. Kingsley, what's up? It has been a long time. Hope you are doing good. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hope everything's well with you. Okay, we'll take a look at USD ZAR, Euro ZAR, and Aussie New Zealand dollar. You always love those kind of choppy, exotic pairs, don't you? I mean, someone's got to trade them, so I suppose you're doing that for us. But yeah, we'll have a look. See, yeah, Euro is pretty bearish as well, Tom. Euro is definitely bearish at the moment. So yeah, we'll start things off with Euro ZAR. I think the last time I had a look at Euro ZAR was last time you recommended it. So yeah, I remember we were kind of slowly rolling over. I said if we were to come back into that high, that would be a nice place for a short since the market is respected on so many occasions. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like we did come back to the retest the high. We did eventually, and price did eventually hold on to it as well. Maybe there might have been a bit of fake out there, which would have stopped out some traders. But the thing with a fake out is if you do get caught on a fake out and price then gives you another entry signal, you can always just re-enter. It stops above the fake out, and then you make your money back there and some more as well. But yeah, price has been ranging, so essentially looking to test the high of the range and see a push back into the low. How are we looking on the higher time frames? Okay, yeah, I remember I said if price was to give a bigger pullback, that would be my preferred place for a short, but doesn't look likely. Okay. So yeah, I do think we can have a bit of a bounce here because we have taken out these lows, had a pretty big bounce there, taking the lows out again. So I do think we can have a pretty big bounce as well. So I think there is room to the upside. The buyers are always going to be a little bit aggressive, but I do like the low here. Something like an inverse head and shoulder setup. So you got your left shoulder, your head, of course, there, and your right shoulder. This looks like a nice place for a buy and a push back up. I do think we're probably going to get a big move to the upside at some point here. So yeah, I do like that setup there for Euro ZAR around 18.95. Trying to anticipate that right shoulder forming, possibly a bounce back into the neckline there at least, and maybe we go a lot further, but something like that makes sense to me. In terms of USD ZAR, okay, this one broke to the upside, but that still looks like a nice short to me. Coming right back into that low, still pretty consistent for all these lower highs. I'll still be looking at a bit of a drop there. I'll still be looking at a bit of a drop. At least back to retest the high here. So yeah, USD ZAR. I do think this one's going to keep dropping. Maybe even see some new lows too, but at least the push back to this level here is where I expect. In terms of entries, that's where it gets a little bit difficult, I must say, because I'm looking for price to get here, but effectively you kind of want to try and find some entries up high. But if not, there is an area here which price keeps respecting. You can see here 1, 2, 3, 4 rejections, a lot of big wicks at this area. So price is definitely having a tough time trying to break through here. So in terms of entries, that's a nice place. Looks like we're kind of pulling away a little bit now, but that's the move I expect to make. There's always a risk that price might fake you out a little bit since of where we're trading, but if you do push back to the high, it's always gonna be a better place to short anyway, and you get better risk reward. But yeah, looking for a push back down to 17.85, and maybe we bounce from there. But yeah, still pretty bearish. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at for USD ZAR, and I'll go through Aussie New Zealand dollar as well. All right, Holy One, take care, my man. We'll catch you in the next one. Nenad, what's up? Hope you're doing good. Hope it wasn't too late and missed JPY, who is still going strong. Hope you had a successful week. Yeah, not bad week to be honest. I mean, I've only closed out some partials on silver, but I'm still holding on to silver. I did manage to get into some CAD yen short positions yesterday, which are going okay. Still a long way to go for really to get the ball rolling. I mean, my stop loss is 1761. So yeah, that's the position I have at the moment. I had a nice rejection of the high there. Nice shift of momentum this morning. Things are looking pretty good. My first target for the trade is here. This is where I look to secure some gains and move stops to break even. But the move I'm really looking for is a big sell like this back to the low. I'll be looking to trail stops. I'm not looking to do anything crazy. And like I said, I'll be securing profits there. So it's not like I'm going to go full size, full position the whole way down. Although that would be very nice, but the chances are price is going to pull up against me. So I'm going to see how everything goes along there. But we come into a really big level on the weekly chart. A lot of wick rejections here on the weekly as well. So those are one of the main confluences why I decided to go short at that particular area. But yeah, the trade idea is at least to push back to this area. That's why I look to protect the trades, protect risk, and then I'll go from there. But overall, I am currently short on CAD yen. But yeah, we have had a bit of a drop with the yen pairs, but I do think there will still be opportunities later on. I will go take a look at Aussie New Zealand dollar quickly before I forget. What's up, Will? Okay, you're taking off. Okay, take care, my man. Still looking to short gold and pound CAD. Okay, nice. We'll have a good one. Don't forget to like, peeps. Appreciate it. If you guys are enjoying the stream, please be sure to drop a like on the stream. It does really help out. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. And of course, make sure you do hit the bell too so you don't miss out any streams or uploads in the future. But I appreciate it, Will. Take care, my man. We'll take a look at Aussie New Zealand dollar, a pair which I have not had a look at yet. Normally for good reason, but okay, we've seen some nice momentum now. Not often you see that with this pair, but looking very, very bullish. And I believe we're... Okay, maybe price is trying to make its way back to the high there, to be honest. Looks like this resistance has kind of cracked. So yeah, if price is trying to make its way back to the high, there might be some nice sells up here. But I wouldn't try and hold anything. The thing about Aussie New Zealand dollar is that we're very corrective pair. If you're looking for mean reversion strategies, you can find your opportunities here because we do that more often than not. So the chances are we push back to the high, we probably have a bit of a reaction, and you can find a nice sell. It's just that we are starting to pick somewhat of a trend up now. So I would be weary about looking for anything long term to the downside because it might just be something like that before we continue pushing. But I think naturally, because of how the market conditions are, this is always going to be a nice place to short and where you can expect to see a reaction now that looks like price has broken through this high as well. So as we approach 111,300, 111,400, I would be looking at some downside there at that high, maybe at least come back and retest that level, and then we can go from there. But I would be anticipating some shorts at this area. If it's like a trending market structure, and trending environment, I probably wouldn't be looking for the rejection of the high, but because it's not, it's Aussie New Zealand dollar corrects 99% of the time. So that is an area I expect at least for a bounce. Maybe we are going to have a bigger breakout and a trend's going to follow, maybe, but at least we probably will respect it first and see some nice downside from that. So yeah, that's what I'll be looking at for Aussie New Zealand dollar. What's up, Tony Gold? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're doing good, my man. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hope you're well. Okay, blessing. We'll go through Euro Yen. No problem. No problem as well, Kingsley. Happy to help. So yeah, Euro Yen, another Yen pair, which I actually do really like. Is arguably a better setup than the CAD Yen position I took because Euro at the moment is a lot weaker. I think it's probably one of the weakest currencies at the moment, Euro. So it's the better one to short. But in terms of the opportunity now with Euro Yen, now the opportunity I'm looking at is definitely the break of this low. Again, another possible head and shoulder pattern. You got the left over there, you got the head over there, and of course, now your right shoulder. And the setup would be the break of the low here and then some retests below, because we've already had that lower high. Price came, we tested the trend line pretty well. So that setup's kind of said and done with. Now this looks to me the next best opportunity. On the higher time frames, you've even got another head and shoulder pattern, arguably a more impressive one, which is the retest of the high here, left shoulder, head, right shoulder. Now again, looking for a push into the low. So in my opinion, there's a lot of downside for euro yen, and as long as we keep that up, I do think price is going to have a big sell. We just need to break through this low here at 162. If we can break through that this week, yeah, I do think the floodgates will open, and then targets down at these lows looks really, really good, or at least back to this kind of area here. But that would be the setup that would interest me. I'm not too sure if I'll be looking at euro yen anymore, because CAD yen is where my focus will be now, since that's the yen pair already. But if I wasn't trading CAD yen and I was looking at euro yen, this would be the opportunity, and I really do like this as well. So yeah, euro yen shorts back below that 162. Keep a close eye on that one. There's a lot of downside to be had. There's a lot of downside to be had there. But overall, for the yen pairs, I do think we are likely to fall. Let me have a look at some of the Japanese index. Okay, so that's looking a little bit bearish now. As I said earlier in the week, if that floor breaks, I think it's lights out for the yen pairs. I think we're going to come back into here, 35,500. This has a positive correlation with the yen pairs in general. If this is falling, then the yen pairs are going to fall with it. Because yen, if this falls, that means yen is strong. That means euro yen, pound yen is likely to fall. So if this floor breaks, and I like the weekly candle closure we had last week as well, you can see all the rejection we've had here, a lot of wicks to the upside, pretty strong closure last week as well. So I do think this week we can see a bit of momentum creep in, and a push to that low is a pretty big drop, and that probably will take the yen pairs with it. Still needs to break through though. We haven't broken through yet, which is probably why we haven't really seen the yen pairs really sell off. But if we do get the break, we're probably going to fall pretty hard. Then in terms of the JPY basket, this one should be looking, somewhat bullish. Okay, we're bouncing off that low. So this one's still a little bit corrective. In fact, I'm just going to get rid of that channel now and focus more on the range here, because that's kind of what price is respecting now. So if we can commit to the upside, then we're in business. For something like that, at least back to this level, at least back to that level there, and then we can judge if price is going to sell or price is going to break through. But for now, still ranging. Let's see if we can break the high. But yeah, overall yen pairs, to me, they do look like they're likely to fall. I think in terms of the catalyst, really the breakout of this is probably essential. And of course, the break for the floor of the JP225 as well. Break that, and it should be lights out. But yeah, I'm just going to wait and sit with CAD yen. I haven't moved stops to break even at all or anything. Stops are still at the original price, 111.761. Targets down there. I'm going to let the market do its thing. Got a wide enough stop loss, enough room for the market to do its thing. Don't really have any major news events. I mean, we do have actually JPY inflation rates. So that is definitely one event to actually keep an eye on, actually. But besides from that, not much else, at least concerning USD. I know we got some CAD retail sales on Friday, but nothing that would scare me, to be honest. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm looking at. Then of course, in terms of silver, I'm just going to keep managing that position really back to the high. If of course gold keeps pushing and doesn't sell off, then silver should keep pushing too. Silver should keep pushing too, but we are a bit flat now. How is gold doing? Yeah, so gold is still pushing. I mean, I'll look again at gold at 226.80, which is this level here. For me, I'm still bearish on gold as long as we don't take out that high. If we take out that high, I'll have to rethink things. I mean, if we take out that high, we're probably going to hit my silver target anyway. So not too, I don't mind that too much, to be honest. But if it does happen, then I will be scrapping that bearish bias with gold and probably looking at something like this back to the high if that does happen. So I'll keep an eye on that. But so far, it hasn't happened yet. I do think gold is still likely to sell off. Just it might not see that sell to that low. Maybe something like this before we push up later on. But I think in terms of the geopolitical climate, I think gold is being heavily bought. So sometimes the technicals might go out the window a little bit here. Gold, being heavily bought, we might just keep pushing up in this situation. So I'll keep an eye, but at the moment there's nothing there. What's DXY doing? Still slightly looking a little bit bullish. But yeah, I do think we can push a little bit higher anyway. The same thing for Euro. A little bit lower, and then we might see the push happen. Is anyone looking to trade Euro USD? I know someone mentioned Euro USD buys early in the stream. Can't remember who. I think it's a nice buy. It's just always just a bit difficult because the market's been so bearish. But to be fair, I'm working on a more mean reversion strategy because I've got one looking to follow trends, but now I'm working on something that's a bit more mean reversion, looking to anticipate more choppy conditions and trade towards the mean reversion, of course. So I'll be looking at more trades like that, and CAD Yen is one of those trades that fits that plan as well. Looking for price to revert close to the mean, hence why I've got short there. But I've kind of combined it with my higher time frame analysis because I'm still looking for a continuation of this move. So there's a bit of a trend analysis to it as well. But again, there's only two ways to trade the market: mean reversion or trend following. Really, only two ways. And the idea is to pick one and focus on that. It's just that sometimes if you focus on one, you miss on the opportunities in the other. So it can be beneficial to have both, but then you need to be able to manage that pretty well. But yeah, we'll see how CAD CHF, CAD Yen gets going. I think CAD's a little bit strong, to be honest, because of course you've got Euro CAD falling out the sky at the moment. Yeah, Euro CAD's falling out the sky, Pound CAD falling out the sky as well. Aussie CAD, what we doing? Okay, trying to push up a little bit. Of course, Aussie's pretty strong, and then New Zealand CAD, yeah, falling as well. So CAD is pretty strong. So maybe on paper, CAD Yen's probably not the best yen pair to short, but then again, it fit the technicals the best. So that's why I was happy to take it. But maybe Euro Yen or Pound Yen have a better swing. We'll have to wait and see. But things can change as well. News can happen. CAD will become bearish. So I'm not too worried about that. Is Aussie CAD still respecting that channel? Yeah, it is. I mean, if it can break through that, I do think we'll get the break now because EuroCAD has seen the break of the consolidation. Pound CAD seeing a big breakout. So I do think Aussie CAD and New Zealand CAD will shortly follow afterwards. And then I can finally add these guys to my watch list because I really do like the setups below the channel here. It's the same idea with my CAD Yen trade. We had this ascending channel. I'm looking for the channel to break to the downside. Aussie CAD ascending channel. I'm looking for this to break to the downside as well. Very rarely the market sustains this type of price action for long. And you can see the market just looks very, very tired. So I do expect it's going to break to the downside pretty soonish. And when it does, that's when I'll look to start to find some opportunities on the flip to short and essentially come back to the low all the way here. But I'll be looking at targets before that to at least manage the trade anyway. But Aussie CAD, I do like the shorts, and New Zealand CAD, same trade. And I do like the shorts with this one as well. As this one broke out of the channel. Okay, it's getting there. It's getting there. I need to see some momentum. I'm not looking for a small corrective break because that's not really a good opportunity. I want price to give me some strong candle closures, show me a lot of momentum. That'll be something I'll be looking to follow. Be nice if you can break structure whilst we're at it. Then yeah, pullbacks will look really, really good. And I'm looking for price to push all the way back into the low here at 0.795. And yeah, maybe further as well, but that's the trade idea I'm looking at. So New Zealand CAD, Pound CAD, Aussie CAD, Euro CAD, all to me look like good shorts, which is maybe a bit of a red flag because I'm selling CAD yen right now. So CAD's going to probably be a bit strong, but I expect yen to be even stronger. That's the thing with the yen pairs. Doesn't really matter too much about the currency you trade it with because yen is normally the governing force. If yen is strong, it's normally stronger than everything else. If yen is weak, it's normally weaker than everything else. Which is why if you look at all the yen pairs in higher time frames, look at the longer term trends, they all look pretty much identical, even though CAD, Pound, Euro, Aussie has had different strengths and weaknesses throughout. Yen is the governing factor. But yeah, it does look like CAD might be a bit strong looking at these other markets. And if I compare Euro and Pound, are these guys bouncing? Okay, looking pretty bearish. I think there is a nice setup here for Euro Pound. Again, not my preferred pair, but if price was to get here, reject it, I think that could be a nice little buy. Something like that. Again, the main reason behind this is that on the monthly chart, we're testing a really, really big level, which I do expect to hold this area here. So that's why I like the buys, because they're maybe a little bit aggressive, but you're at the lows, so price shouldn't break through. If it does break through, then we might see a really big breakout. Maybe I shouldn't use the word shouldn't, but you don't expect price to break out there. So yeah, going forward with Euro Pound, I think that could be a nice setup around 0.83. Not a pair on my watch list, so I'm not going to be focused on that, to be honest. The only pair on my watch list, which looks like I might see another entry, is well, only two pairs would be New Zealand CHF, a buy down there, or gold. Those are the only two markets which I might get involved in. But I can only pick one. I need to get another trade to break even, because silver, although it's live, I've taken partials on break even. CAD yen haven't taken partials, haven't gone break even. So with that one, I need to manage that trade first before I can take two more. I'm only allowing myself to have two trades which are not break even or not managed at once. For example, silver, worst case scenario, price does come back and hit my stop loss, which is at break even. I walk away with a small win. In terms of risk, I'm not really, need to worry about that, because worst case scenario, still walk away with a profit. Best case scenario, walk away with a larger profit if it does hit the target. Silver, CAD yen, of course, worst case scenario, do take a loss still. So I always want to make sure that in one kind of day or week, I'm probably not going to lose more than two trades. So that risk is always capped. And it stops you spiraling out of control as well. Because it's all well and good risking 1% per trade. But if you take 10 trades in a day, you're essentially risking 10% per day. And all it takes is a couple of days for things to go really badly. So if you're risking appetite, it is 1% per trade, 2% per trade, 0.5%, all really healthy amounts to risk, but your trade frequency means a lot as well. If you're risking 1% per trade, you take 10 trades a day, you take 50 in a week, you're essentially risking half your account every week. I know you're probably not going to lose all 50 trades, but it's at risk every week. So not a good situation to be in. So always protecting the risk, protecting your trade frequency can be definitely something to look at, especially if you're in the lower time frames. Swing trading, you're probably not going to run into that problem too much, because naturally you're going to be taking less trades. But scalping, day trading, definitely to manage that accordingly. But yeah, so far it hasn't been too much of a busy week. I still think the yen pairs could go for a really big sell. We'll see what happens with the inflation rate later today. But really, my focus is just managing my positions and keeping an eye on silver and gold. But I think because gold has been so bullish, I'm going to be super patient with a trade entry. At the start of the week, I was pretty aggressive. If I see an opportunity, I'm in it. Now I'm kind of less aggressive because of how bullish it has been, and how it's retraced. It hasn't really retraced how I wanted it to do, and it's broken through my initial level anyway. This was the initial level I wanted to go short from. That has really truly broken through. So yes, I'm still bearish bias, but it's not as good as the opportunity which it once was. So I might just sit on silver and let silver do its thing. And of course, I'm in CAD Gen as well. So no need to try and force anything. And then the other USD majors, Euro USD, I'm not really looking for buys there. It's a nice setup, but just a little bit too aggressive for me. Pound, not really interested in the buys there as well. I know pound USD is actually testing a really big trend line as well on the weekly chart. So this could be a nice buy and a place where we form a higher low possibly. You can see first test, second test, third, fourth. That could be a nice bounce there again. But if you look at last week's candle, so bearish, huge candle to the downside there. So much momentum in the market. I would like to have seen a big wick this week, which is kind of why I'm looking for that one more down move for the USD pairs and one more move up for the DXY. So if you can get a nice big wick piercing through and price pulls back up, that'll be a really nice sign that we're probably going to bounce. And then I can probably consider buying, but at the moment, haven't quite got that yet. And all we're doing is just moving sideways on that trend line. So yeah, not really a high quality setup for me. I think dollar CAD is the only good one, but even with dollar CAD, price just being a little bit too stretched. If price had a deeper pullback, I would have taken the trade. But yeah, it's a bit too stretched. And now that I'm in CAD Gen, I'm not really interested to get into another CAD pair either, at least till my CAD Gen is either stopped out or I've managed to trade. Anyway, but we'll keep an eye on dollar CAD because I'm interested in that one. I'll take a note of it in my journal. But even with the break of that high, it does make things a little bit awkward. Possibly, this is the move we're after for dollar CAD. But there'll be bigger retracements, bigger pullbacks in as time develops, and those are the opportunities I'm looking at. This is not really the place I want to buy from, especially as a swing trader. Intraday, you can get away with it. Yeah, because you're gonna be in and out the market, not stay too long. If you want to hold trades, not the best place. You want price to just spring back. Because if I add the 200 EMA in, where is that in relation to price? So yeah, still way above the 200. 200 is a nice confidence if price was near it or even bouncing on it. Still very far away. Again, doesn't mean that price can't still push up. We did it over there, but we only do that for so long. So again, not that this move can't happen. It's just too stretched. Like the price comes a little bit deeper for me before I look for that bounce. 200 is a nice reference of how stretched the market is, or even the trend. I mean, I don't use it for the trend. I use market structure to identify trend because it's the best kind of way for it, at least for myself anyway. But looking at where price is in relation to the 200 does kind of put things in perspective quite nicely. So yeah, for that reason is why I am staying out of dollar CAD. But I still do think we can have a nice bounce if price does hold into that level. But yeah, I'm just going to focus on silver and gold. and New Zealand CHF. But we'll be live again later today with Trader Nick on his channel. So we'll probably discuss some of the movements because we do have the retail sales for CAD and we do have PMI for USD. Nope, I'm looking at the wrong day. We got jobless claims for USD, sorry, at 1:30. So we'll probably discuss that and see how the markets react to that on his stream. So if you guys are free later today, make sure you tune into that. And yeah, probably won't be any new trades by then, but we'll see what happens with the yen pair, see what happens with silver and gold. Maybe I do enter a gold position. But yeah, if you guys are not there to see that stream on Nick's channel, of course, I will be live again tomorrow. So make sure you guys do pop in, say hi. I don't bite. If you're free, do check it out. And make sure you check out the Elevating Traders Discord channel as well, guys. A lot of great things to come. So make sure you do check it out. And of course, you can join discussions with myself, other traders as well, different trading opportunities and other topics as well. So if you're interested, make sure you do go check out the Discord channel. But guys, do really appreciate you tuning in. We have come to the end of the stream. I will be live later today, like I said, with Trader Nick. So if you do want to see more of me, go check out that stream. We'll be live roughly around 1:45 p.m. UK time. So if you're free, come say hi. Otherwise, I will see you guys tomorrow, same time as always, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. UK time. But yeah, guys, have a great Thursday. Have a great day. Like I said, I'll see you tomorrow. Have a great day again. If I hadn't said that enough already. But take care, guys. I'll see you in the next one.